What up, Corner Crew? Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Baily. Want to give a shout out to y'all for tuning in again. And this is episode number 44, I think. Shout out to y'all, everybody that tunes into all of them. Peace. Thank you for your support. And I want to give a special shout out to my homeboy Sean Stewart over at EasyWheel420.com for lacing me with some fresh gear. He's all about that smoke life. So go over there, EasyWheel420.com, and cop some merch. And without further ado, we got a guest coming all the way from South Africa. He's coming at you live. So he's a 6 hour ahead from the East Coast. And let's bring him on board. Ecliptic. What up, bro?
Hey, what's up, Brad? Shout out to you.
Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for joining us all the way from South Africa. We've been going international the past couple of weeks. We had a guest from Germany last week, Bofat. So it's pretty dope that we can reach out to everyone across the world. You know what I mean? That's cool. But I like to start off by asking our guest to tell us who are you and what you're all about.
For sure. My name is Kira. My stage name is Ecliptic. I grew up in the townships of South Africa, the southwestern townships, which is popularly known for the youth uprising in 1976 during the apartheid era.
Right.
Yes, I've lived in both homes, from the southwestern township, and also I lived in the south side of Johannesburg. So I've been exposed to the hip hop culture from a very young age, around about the age of 6 or 7.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I got into hip hop.
What was the first thing that you heard that made you fall in love?
The hip hop, well, I think I was like 5 or so, and then there was a channel, like there was a music channel that used to play on the television. It was MC Light,
Hmm.
Rock the Party. Yeah, that was the first song I heard from her. And then I think the next week, and then I heard Carriers One, and she's like I don't know. Um, there's so many like I think early '90s, mid '90s type of hip hop that I heard at that time. But I
That's
didn't know, didn't. But I'll be honest, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was rap or anything like that. To me, it was just like music and stuff like that. But
yeah, because you didn't have a label to put on it like most of us did, especially
yeah,
with the language barrier. Also, the language barrier must have been something. Now, did you learn how to speak English through hip hop?
yeah. I mean, I knew how to speak English from a very young age because my mom was an English teacher. So
That's dope.
um, yeah. So even the nursery school that I went to, so we learned English language from a very early age because South Africa was colonized by the British Empire. So um, English is like a common language that's spoken here.
That's yeah. They apartheid. That was a hell of a thing. Nelson
Yeah,
Mandela. He was a great man. South Africa is kind of the most Americanized country, I would think, over there in
yeah.
Africa. And so, what were your influences getting into hip hop from America?
From America, like I said, listening to Keras One, and then listening to MC Light, and then as growing up towards becoming a teenager, I had like people that I look up to, like his big brothers, who introduced me to cannabis,
Hmm.
um, Master Ace, Immortal Technique, um, Gangsta. Wow, man, like there's just so many I could count.
So there's a
It
lot
is,
of
it is,
MCs that have that political vibe and that are straight,
yeah,
just raw lyricists. Yeah, yeah, I get you. That's
yeah,
culture too. I mean, it's the culture that you grew up in, so you would
yeah,
gravitate toward that, towards hip hop. Now, your
yeah.
style. What do you equate your style to?
Well, for my style, most of the songs that I make, it's mostly it's political. I do address political issues within my country and also globally. But at the same time, I also like as African people, we are like theosophical people. So I love to teach about astronomy, and astrology and all type of things. Um, I'm very spiritual also at times. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like reminding people of who we are as a nation and also as a continent. So that's more of what um I was doing at the time.
South Africa does have one of the fastest rising underground hip hop scenes across the world.
Yeah,
There are a lot of great MCs coming out of South Africa, and it sucks because no one's really hearing them right now because there's so much coming out that they're getting buried across the world, just like everyone else right now. Especially the way the algorithms have been running and all that the past few months. If you don't buy that check mark, then you're not going to be seen. So, how do you promote yourself within your own community?
well, within my community, well, I what I did was like I tried to start my own podcast, hoping that maybe that would be the way to accelerate everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that we'd be able to network with one another in the country. You know what I'm saying? So then, but at the time, then I also realized like, okay, so it seems like there's also those common problems within other nations as well. So then let's see if we can all gather up together and then let's see how it works. Because to me, I mean, this is a universal culture. So I don't feel like we should just restrict it to ourselves. Like I'm only just gonna make it South African hip hop or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because um, when I look at the history of South African hip hop, like guys like the Black Noise and many others that started early, um, they had a connection with Africa Bombard and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that for me was a sign that okay, I think um, us working as together, you know what I'm saying, without looking at the barriers of our languages or our religions um, or our nations or whatever that our differences. We should look beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's all about humanity.
It is. You're absolutely right. And hip hop's one of the only cultures that do stretch across the world from here to the even the some of the most remote islands still have heard hip hop in any form, even if it's Will Smith.
Yeah.
They've still heard some sort of hip hop, and it kind of did. You're right. It does connect all the cultures. Going back to your podcast, what's the name of your podcast, and where can we catch it?
Oh yeah. My podcast is Hip Hop Nation TV. Um, we go live usually on Instagram. So I decided to use Instagram because I felt like okay, that's a common place that can be used for many people. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that complicated. So yeah, I've done so many great local artists here and even international artists from USA. The Punchline, Razkez, Ty Phoenix, Star, and many others as well.
Yeah, I saw. You have had some heavy hitting names on there. I've been trying to get Roz on the show, and I haven't heard back yet. So kind of mad, but it's all good. I want
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to go back to when you were coming up and when you were growing up. You obviously had some American influences, but who were your international influences?
My international, you mean like the artists that I looked up to?
Right, right.
I wouldn't say like I had like just one particular person. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because like I was listening to so many underground hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? Because I was even listening to Park. I was listening to Royce 59. You know, I was listening to D12. I was listening um so many of these guys.
Now, are there
you
anybody
know,
from your home
the
country
pop
that
is.
you were listening to that really inspired you?
Sorry.
Anyone from your home country that you were listening to that really inspired you?
Yeah, there were so many. Like to me and the volume, which you probably know is Stogie T. He was the one that appeared on the Sway Universe Star.
Hmm.
Yeah, I grew up listening to Stogie a lot. Also Golden Shovel and Optical Illusion. Um, Also Trinity. You know, one of the guys. It was a trio group, so I'm managing one of the guys, Kato. Um, so yeah, for me, it's an honor for me to be working with him, because um, he was the first hip hop artist to be signed at Gala Records.
Hmm.
So I so like having a conversation with him, like I have that guidance from him, Um, he carries that history of what hip hop is in South Africa. And also, I mean, as you saw, I also did an interview with Emil, Emil X, um, who got a lifetime achievement from the South African Hip Hop Museum. So I mean, he's been contributing to the hip hop culture here since the 1980s. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, and he shares the history of, they say, hip hop culture globally. So yeah,
That's
there
dope.
are many others, like the squatter camp, yeah,
Yeah, it's good to have a very deep community of hip hop and
yeah,
that you can grow off of and build that foundation. And like you were saying about like how trying to break out into different parts of the world, and it's kind of very sectical. And that's the way
yeah,
the America is kind of still that way. We break things up by region. Everything is still East Coast, West Coast, Southern rap. You know, it's kind of hard to try to bring people together. It really is. That's what we try to do at the Culture Corner. Is that we're about bringing everybody together, give everybody a little bit of each flavor, and you build on what the recipe you want with the flavors that we provide. You know, so and
yeah,
it's kind of good that it's great that we can reach across the world. It really is.
yeah,
Now, we have a segment on the show that I like to call "What's Your Issue." Now, this
yeah,
could be any type of issue, from a small little issue, something that bothers you on a daily
yeah,
basis, or a big world issue. So, Ecliptic,
yeah.
what's your issue?
I wouldn't really say like it's an issue, you know what I'm saying? But like I feel like I want to know like what we can do in terms of uh uh, uh marketing the hip hop culture, especially like the underground hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? Um, how can we make that uh economically viable? You know what I'm saying? In a way that people can live off, and um, how can we be able to own what we produce, because there's so many people that don't contribute, that don't care about the culture but are benefiting from the culture.
Hmm.
That that's what I'm beginning to question. Like how do we move from that?
Yeah, actually, that's been talked about on this show before with the Bad Seed. He has
Yeah,
the same idea of we should own our own thing. Like we should
yeah,
have our own platform, like a Facebook, that's just
yeah,
us, that we own our own venues across the world,
yeah,
everything that's our own, so we can just do everything ourselves, because no one's going to put any money into it. No one's backing us. We have to do everything ourselves. We have to rely
yeah,
on the support of our fan base and our local community to really support us, which is, it does suck, because either that, or you just, as a rapper, you have to try to get a major labor deal, and that's really hard and few and far between, because they're looking for a certain artist and a certain type. So you're right, it's a pet peeve of mine also. So I'm with you on that issue for sure.
for sure, for sure, for sure. But what do you think also can be done in terms of uh like having our own media content, and then, but owned by us. You know what I'm saying? Because at times, uh, the the the, there's like a lot of misconceptions about what hip hop is. I don't know if that still happens, in your side by that side, but I feel like that those misconceptions about what hip hop is, here in our side. Do
Oh,
you
there
feel that?
definitely is. There definitely is. Especially when you're trying to do a live show. Like when I was with Hip Hop Lifers, we would do live shows in the Boston, the Worcester area, and it's very hard to get a venue because as soon as you
Yeah,
tell them it's a hip hop show, an underground hip hop show, they think violence and drugs, and it's totally not that. It's just a bunch of people standing around enjoying the music and having a couple of drinks, and a lot of people standing
yeah,
outside smoking. That's basically all it is. And there's rarely ever any trouble. We never had any trouble at any of our shows. So you're right. The
yeah, yeah.
misconception is great out there.
Wow. So is it not really like biased of them to think that way? Because I mean, like, with the trap, with the trap um sessions and stuff like that, such things go on, but they don't complain about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Or is
It,
it?
it's wild because you can have a rock show that they throw, and then like five people get murdered because they get trampled, and that same
Yeah,
promoter is going to the next town 2 weeks later and throwing the same show. And but if that was a hip hop show, that promoter would be in jail and bankrupt and owe the state and the families of those people millions upon millions of dollars. So there has to be some sort of, even if the government had to step in and make some sort of equality act, but
yeah,
how would we go about doing that across the world? So there's what you run into that problem with.
right, right, right. No, I totally understand what you say. But at the same time, do you think what can we like contribute in terms of educating the black youth and stuff like that? I mean, it shouldn't just educating the youth or in hip hop. What do
That's
you
a tough
think?
one because we have to break through the minds that have already been corrupted by TikTok and
Yeah,
Instagram and all the things that they've already seen that they aspire to be that aren't real. Like most of social media, none of it's real. The pictures of people aren't real. Everything now with AI, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if you've heard the Biggie rap and Shook ones yet,
yeah.
but
I saw
it's
it
like
on Instagram.
that is wild. It's like, okay, where are we going to go from here? The artist might be obsolete in 10 years. You never, even 5 years. The AI is moving so quickly. It's ridiculous. What's your thought on that? The AI?
Yeah, yeah. For me, I mean, I see the pros and cons, and
Hmm.
I think with every tool or machinery, I think it can be very dangerous when it's placed in the wrong hands. That's what I realized. Um, what is the agenda of that person? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, because even with weapons or guns, you know what I'm saying? if you ask yourself, is the weapon the problem, or is it the person that's holding the weapon that's the problem? So I don't know how do we address that, uh, in terms of psychologically,
Hmm.
of how we are as a people.
Yeah. The only thing with
So
AI is the weapon can think for itself. That's that's a
yeah,
that's a big problem. Like it's advancing so quickly within this past year, just from it started as artwork and changing people's faces, and now it's doing a whole entire song and making its own. They did a song about with Drake in the weekend. It was all AI. They're creating full
yeah,
episodes of TV shows, movies. So it seems like we're going into the realm of either we can try to control it and make money from it and sit back and just let it work for us, or it's going to take over everything and we're not going to have a choice about it. That's like only the two paths that I see with the AI situation. So, but it's a wild thing. It definitely is. Now, tell us where we can find all your stuff, all your music, everything else you got going on.
Oh yeah. My first EP, Blood Moon One, it's available on Audio Mac, and then Blood Moon Two is available on all streaming platforms. Spotify, Apple Tunes, YouTube. Yeah,
Everything under
everywhere you can
Ecliptic.
find. Yeah,
Dope, dope. Definitely, everybody go
yeah,
check them out for sure, for sure.
for
Another
sure.
question. Another question I like to ask my guests on this podcast is five daily essentials. Five things you can't live without every day. What are they?
Um, Let me see. I'd say reading, because I'm a person that's curious. I always wanna find out what's going on in the world. I wanna learn more and
Hmm.
get perspectives from other people. Um, Obviously, my music, like, yeah, I can't live without music. I usually need that for motivation and tap also spiritually.
Choose for every.
Um, yeah. What else? I love jogging. Just taking walks and um, observing nature. You know, just uh, just having that moment to appreciate life,
Hmm.
no matter what the conditions I'm in. Um, Family, of course, and the people that support me. Yeah, it's 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 amazing to see what we can do um, as a people when we are
One
united,
more.
differences aside.
You got one more, man.
What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. I can't think of
You're,
any more.
you're taking four. You're the only person that hadn't said water. Everybody starts off with water with the five daily essentials. Water.
Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah, yeah,
So that was good.
yeah,
Thank you for not starting off with a generic answer. But
yeah,
all right, man. I know it's late where you're at. I want to thank you for jumping on with us. I want to make this one a quick
yeah,
one because it's like 2:30 in the morning over there. Get some
yeah,
sleep.
yeah, yeah,
Get some sleep.
yeah.
Thank you for being so active in the group. Also, you've been down since day one, and I really appreciate your support. And you already know, anytime share your stuff, promote it up. We got you. We'll push it. And again, appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
Name of the podcast, and where can we find it again?
On Hip Hop Nation TV. It's available on Buzzsprout, so you can listen to it through all the streaming part, the distribution sites. Spotify, um, Google Podcast, and then can't remember the other ones, but mostly the distribution platforms for podcasts. You can hear it there, and then you can also find it on YouTube. It's also available on YouTube. And you can also check on our Instagram account.
A dope, dope. Definitely check it out. Hip Hop Nation TV podcast.
Yeah,
Looking forward. Hopefully, I'll be on there one day. We'll talk. We'll talk. You know,
definitely,
I
definitely,
feel you. I
definitely.
feel you. But again, bro, thank you for joining us at the Hip Hop Happy Hour. And
Yeah,
we'll do this again. Definitely, we'll do this again someday. And peace.
peace, much love.